All right. Post Dev Connect, everybody's tan from their time in Buenos Aires. Demo day.
Because we spent all that time on the beach, right?
People were like, did you guys like go do tourist stuff? Did you see like cool stuff in Buenos Aires? I was like,
nothing.
We saw some statues. I have some pictures of a couple cool statues.
Yeah, we went to a cool bookstore.
We did.
It was a cool
bookstore. All right, let's do this. Like I was saying earlier, I want this to be a feedback heavy demo day, less of a show offy demo day. So raise your hand, chime in. It's like definitely tell us what you like and don't like, because like I think nothing is really complete yet, right? And I think we need it to get to the point where we're all happy with it. So okay, new landing page. All of this copy, I guess, is like, say, subject to experimentation, but we're trying to make it more outcome oriented. I know one thing that we definitely want to do is fix the mobile of this, which we've talked about, and updating all these vector graphics. I know, Javi, you had mentioned that before, and I strongly agree. And updating the testimonials, which Carl, I think you mentioned. But other than that, a lot of the scaffolding is there. I'm curious if anybody has any feedback on that. It's very, uppity tie.
It just looks clean. Like it feels very we're a real product.
Oh, look at us. We're so professional.
Yeah.
We got a value prop page of why we're good, like what is our philosophy, what sets us apart. We have FAQs, how we're different from other things. I think the pricing is obviously still always a work in progress, but it's mostly there, with FAQs down here as well. And then, I'm glad we have, all of this could use better vector graphics for sure, and maybe a second pass on the value props. And then definitely this surface should be the one that we're like iterating on the most, of like which use cases we are trying to showcase at any given time. Obviously the top two right now are ecosystems and supply chains. Actually haven't even seen the supply chain one yet. Let's see what you did, Carl.
Yeah.
Right on. Vector graphics could use some work, but sure.
I have not touched vector graphics, but if you go down, there is an embedded notebook.
There is an embedded notebook.
I mean, the placeholder for graphics is still, better than the. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's better that it exists than it doesn't. So.
As long as we're making incremental progress forward, it's good. Yeah. We never want to be going backwards. So this is this is good. I like it. People love Sankey diagrams for some reason. So
flow in, flow out.
Money in equals money out. No, this is good. Is this just made up data, I assume?
Of course.
Of course, sure, cool.
How efficient is our supply chain?
Yeah, you can literally see
efficient.
Yeah. It.
Love it, man. Huge Marima fan. This is so nice. Awesome, looking good. Awesome. What?
Yeah, check out a few more. Let's look at I don't know, any of them.
Yeah, I haven't seen what you did with some of these other ones yet, so let me take a look. Oh, you added notebooks for all of them. Awesome.
I did, yeah. So there's a notebook, and then on the solutions page, there's a screenshot of each one.
Right
homepage, there's a screenshot of each one, so you can kind of see what it looks like.
Ooh.
Again, this is fake data, but
no, this is great. No, I love it. This is way better than what we had before, which is nothing. To the right. PCs love to the right.
Check out Reputation Networks. I like that one.
Man, this loading time though.
Yeah.
There's one thing. Okay, right on. Trust score, trust signals, activity, and this is all made up, I assume, as well.
All made up. You can check the code.
Mr. Rodriguez is not a real.
Guys, be careful. This is being
Yes,
recorded.
yes.
It's all
Would
made
have
up.
thought.
We don't want people to get the wrong idea. It's all made up, guys.
And these are interactive?
Oh yeah. Some are not actually. Oh, okay. I guess they all are. That one, the top end, I don't think is interactive.
Okay, cool. I like it. Nice.
That one doesn't have an embedded one, but we have.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's all right. I mean, yeah, I mean, this one, I think people understand, and it's probably the least important page at this point, but we should keep it around. I mean, I am proud of this work for what it's worth. Like, I know people have, Twitter is all over like different interpretations of it, but I think this was a really cool result from 2025.
100%, it works.
Yeah, totally works. It's just like
The
people
market.
want some meme coins. Cool, awesome. Anything else we should show off?
Let me see.
I think the other thing that's like, you know, I don't see us doing this all at once, but in the not too distant future, when private ingest and you know, UDMs are a thing, and Ruben, you got to make me stop saying UDMs and replace it with a better word, like because
At this point, I feel
if we
like
don't intervene now, it's going to be too late because it's going to be.
I feel like it's already too late.
I think it's already too late. Yeah.
Like I've already said, don't say that. But at this point, like it's funny because it appeared in only one specific location in a PR that you reviewed, and you have stuck to it.
What I'm saying is, I don't think we have to like revamp all the docs immediately right away all day, but like, you know, obviously a lot of this is going to have to change in this new world, right?
Yeah.
Like the way that we think about CRMs is kind of different now, right? I mean, like I still think we want to maintain OSSD as like our community CRM, so I'm totally fine with this. But the way that we position this top level, the way that we position contributing data, for example, and how we think about contributing data, like all this stuff changes in the not too distant future. So yeah, contributing models for sure. I don't know. Like we should, as we build features, before you launch it, you know, take some time to add the screenshots, you know, in the right places. Because even if we're doing this all in app now, we should still have good docs for it.
Yeah. One thing I'm just curious, if people have not had a chance to look at, if you go back to the homepage, right?
Oh, sure.
And share your screen. Nice. Yeah, go down to the how it works section. Okay, oh, stop, go. Yeah, so we have connect data. This is basically, you know, our version of Dagster. The deploy models, I completely made something up. This is a edited screenshot.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's ingest model notebook, right? Ingest model notebook. That's it.
Right, but if you actually look at what what I have here, you can see I said, you know, you're naming the model, you're deciding whether to deploy it to the production pipeline or I guess your test pipeline or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, whatever you think that might be, that's eventually, yeah. This is not incorrect.
Okay, this is my not very creative. Let me just take command line to what it might look like in a Marimo style notebook environment, with macros and all that other stuff in there.
I think it's fine.
Okay, cool.
I mean, yeah, we can improve this later, but
yeah, as long as there's nothing just, you know, outright wrong, Obviously, the UI will change, but things that we wouldn't want to show here, because given that it's our homepage.
I mean, Ruben, are we going to change how we do macros, or are we going to stick with SQL mesh style macros? That's the only thing that could be like different, I guess.
I want to stick with SQL mesh style macros, but
Fine with me. Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Correctness is easier.
We go back to Jinja.
Guarantee. No, no.
And Ruben like hates that more than YAML.
As much as I hate YAML minus 5%. You know.
All right. Cool. Long demo day. Anything else before we move on? Any other feedback? Yeah. Any other feedback on the landing pages aside from vector graphics that you guys want to change?
No, I think it's exciting. It's cool. It's good. Do we have a dark mode? This is not a useful feedback. I'm just a question. Oh, okay. No dark
We have a request for dark mode from the designer, but we haven't implemented anything yet.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just curious.
Yeah, dark mode is definitely a P2.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's why it's not a useful piece of feedback. It's just a question.
I think it's gonna go like landing page, app, and then we'll dark mode the app before we go back to dark mode anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that would make sense because the app is where dark mode would actually would be important. I think. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, it would be great there. We would just have to have kind of our own opinionated styling for Plotly and other UI things. Because otherwise, you basically have to, hand code all the things. So that's why I just don't want to go there.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I mean, does Miramo have dark mode? If not,
it does have a dark mode.
They do.
It does with those things, though. Yeah.
But does Plotly integrate well with Miramo dark mode?
Well,
Have you tried it?
I mean, they do. I think the problem is if you have any
styling
whatsoever,
it'll
right?
override and then might not look good. Yeah.
And the way you handle that is by having your own CSS or your own settings that are global. But
oh, I see. So one notebook could work in light mode, but not on dark mode.
Yeah. It would look
Yeah.
Like look good. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I call Plotly, right, I can set a dark mode and a light mode, and then I can just have that be a global setting that is then applied everywhere. But right now, you'd have to specify that in each notebook one by one, which would be a real pain.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Any other feedback for the homepages?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
good.
The whole page.
I feel like I've gotten a little bit of positive feedback. Not that we've been showing this to everyone, but a few people have said, "Hey, this looks nice. Looks professional."
Nice.
A little less rinky dink.
Yeah, it's
I miss the ocular, like the dizzy effects.
It's still well, we have the plasmic history, and we are on Internet Archive, so we can always go back and look at how. All right. Next demo, Carl. Screen share.
all right. Back to notebook land, light mode only. Okay, so what was the order here? Let me just figure out. Okay. The first thing I could share. Oh, let me come back to this actually. So yeah, I'll start with notebook land. I think all of you have seen this so far, but we haven't been able to demo it. This is basically our implementation of lifecycle metrics applied to the Electric Capital Open Dev data set. And what you can see here is different types of contributors over the lifecycle of the project, starting from 2015 when CH Archive begins up until October. There's some issue with November, which Ikra is looking into right now. but you can see that history. If you toggle this, you can see the inactive developers. There's a couple different flavors of inactivity. One is people who have become dormant, but are going to come back and do something at some point in time. And then churned, which means this is basically the last recorded activity that we've seen from that developer for any repo that is in the Ethereum collection. What's especially interesting is to compare this against other ecosystems. So we can look at, let's take Bitcoin, for example, and you can see a pretty different trend. Fewer developers, but there's been much higher retention, and I guess you could say organic growth over time. If you look at a up-and-coming one like Solana, it's much more pronounced during periods of high price action, and then things seem to flatten out. One thing that, yeah.
One quick question. So I've seen the version of this on our GitHub archive oriented data. How
Yes.
different are the trends, graphs, etc., when you do it on top of OpenDev?
Good question. This is their collections, but it is our definition of what a contributor is. So we're kind of combining the two. This is pre having all the OpenDev data in our warehouse. I will show a second one, which
This is our events, their CRM.
yes.
Have you done their CRM, their events, and then compared their events with our events and how
Not
different?
directly. No, I have not.
Got it.
I would need to rebuild, these things on their events.
Yeah, I mean, is there a simple translation from their events into our event table, and then it just kind of hooks into everything else downstream? Because I think one of the things that is going to be a piece of criticism that we get is like, oh, it looks different on ours, like you guys did something wrong, right? And it's just like worth the sanity check that's like, oh yeah, no, the shape looks the same, but maybe the absolute value numbers are slightly different for this reason or that reason.
Yep. That is straightforward to do, just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I mean, something that Ken can up with, right? Or
Yeah.
that's yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. That's an easy one. So yeah, where this is headed. So it's obviously interesting comparing just an ecosystem and looking at its own retention. I think the more interesting comparison is going to be answering questions of, where have developers gone? Where did they come from? Where did they go? This is basically a spec that Steffi is going to be helping with. But it basically, here's a Sankey again, but it looks at, you could take any cohort. So here, this is dummy data, right? But you can take the 2023 cohort of developers, and you can see 1 year or 2 years prior, what were they doing? And you can see 1 or 2 years in the future, where are they now? And we can enumerate different ecosystems that we care about. Right now, as a placeholder, we have Solana, Ethereum, AI, Web2, and then anything else which hasn't been categorized. Yeah, the quick implementation of this on our data, this is not using the Electric Capital event model, it's using our event model, but a combination of CRMs is something like this. Let's see if we can make this a bit bigger. Can't. But you can basically see coming in, yeah, I should probably hide the unknown one because that's so big. But you can definitely see all of the AI repos that we have categorized so far. There's about 125,000 developers. This number has actually declined from 2023 to 2024 and 2025. My guess is that those people have gone on to work on companies or their own startups, which are not cataloged, right? So there's probably gonna be a pretty high amount of attrition, but they're still in the AI space. They just haven't been labeled. We'll have to think about how we want to handle that. But you can definitely see inflows from Solana into Ethereum and vice versa. Again, I threw this together yesterday. I haven't had a chance to analyze it, but I think this will be the really cool set of analyses that we can do now, combining both of these data sets.
And so,
yeah,
just to clarify, you have OSS Insight projects and OSS Insight categories imported into OSS directory?
yes. So that was the thing that I wanted to show on the command line, but you can basically see the query here, which is I took 2 OSS Insight collections, one for general AI, the other one for agent frameworks. And we're basically getting all the repos that are associated with those GitHub orgs. And that's how we can create these types of collections. And then we have like a capital one here, and we just look at the intersection between those two sets.
And how from a query perspective, how is unknown specified?
The unknown is basically, so the way this is working is we will take a, let me just see actually. So in this particular case, all we are doing is looking at any developers that come in from any of these collections. So it could be an Ethereum developer, Solana developer, someone who's in AI, and then looking at the year where we have some activity. If we don't see activity in the following year, or we don't see activity in the preceding year, that becomes unknown. The next version would actually be to say, okay, maybe there is other repos that are public where we can see their activity. So they are still a developer, they just aren't in one of these collections. And then there will be some set of people that just have stopped developing in public altogether. And so that will be the churn, or the people that are just not visible anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's just to make sure I summarize this correctly. It's basically unknown means I don't see any activity from them.
Correct.
In one of these collections.
Correct.
It's not because there's another version of this is like we have all of GitHub archives, so we can see like they're in these other repos, but it's not categorized. So I feel like there's two things, which is they're in repos that are not categorized, and then there are no activity whatsoever.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So yeah, there should be I think there should be a new category. So unknown would basically, or unlabeled would basically be activity that doesn't belong to any collection.
Right.
Something public, and then dark
Inactive.
would be inactive. Right. Yeah. Yep.
So right now it's conflated. The two are in both unknown.
Right now it would be dark. Basically. Well, yeah. We haven't extended this. So yeah, they're conflated. That's right.
Okay. I think breaking out inactive would be really cool.
yeah. So this only gives us, again, the known activity. So you also want to look at unlabeled repos. That's like the first step for stuff you to look into. Because we have that. These data are expensive. We'll probably need to pre-compute it. But yeah, it's basically here. Obviously, there's work to add additional collections here. There's work to be a bit more fine-grained. Do you want to look at layer 2s? Do you want to look at different L1 ecosystems, et cetera? And then I think that there will be some projects that probably should belong to a collection that don't right now, that we'll see coming up the other side. But I think the real interesting work will then be taking the different retention graphs and kind of coming back to what you have here and saying, okay, let's look at the 2022 class developers. Where are they now? Is there something different about them than the ones who joined in 2020 or 2018, right? Cool. Another thing that I don't have a notebook pulled up here, but I was working on recently, is actually looking at speedrun Ethereum. So that's one of the big training courses for new Ethereum developers. And there's a list of, I think, 4,000 or so developers that went through that. And we can kind of see specifically what that cohort has done over time, where they came from, what they've contributed to, where they are now. So that will be kind of an interesting additional overlay on this. And I was going to demo it, but I can maybe record a video. We do have a nifty little script that allows you to point to any OSS insight. Let me just show this actually. So if you go to OSS insight, you can. They have these different collections here. You can take anyone. Let's take gaming engines, right? So we can basically grab this from their API. And then I have a little script which will look at all of the repos, identify if they need to be added to OSS Director or not, pull some information about the project, and then basically create the pull request that we need. And we can add new collections very, very quickly.
They have an API?
They do.
Great. Awesome. Where's that script?
It's an OSS directory.
Cool. Awesome. There's a README on how to use it. This is pretty
Yeah.
pretty useful.
Yeah, let me just pull it up here. So we've got all these nice little one-off scripts. Where's that OSS Insight importer? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You basically, it will fetch all the collections. There's a collection ID, so you can go through the table and figure out which one you want. You put in the name and ID, it pulls them, and then it walks you through the process of adding them. Yeah, I ran the script, tried it with 2 collections. It worked out of the gate with no issues both times.
And it's idempotent, which means
Yep.
like it will merge correctly if I fail and try again and stuff like that.
It is, I think the way that the API is so small that it only returns like 30 results or something, 50 results. So I think it'll either just succeed or fail. There's no need to paginate through it.
Oh, that's not what I mean. I just mean like if we are manually editing projects in OSS directory and then we're running these import scripts, it will like intelligently merge and dedupe repos.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it will do that. Yep.
Cool. Cool.
Last thing. So the other thing that I was doing recently is decoding logs. The thing that we thought we were going to do a long time ago, but have finally gotten into.
Oh, how do you do that? Are you doing that in SQL or are you doing that in a job?
Doing that in SQL.
Yeah, like whether or not we should continue to do this in SQL is like the part that I'm like, probably not, but you know.
Why not? That sounds awesome.
I am raw dogging it. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, no, seriously, what's wrong with that?
I mean, because like Trino isn't good at handling like the hex data and overflows and other things. Like, there's just not there's not a lot of good logic to be able to deal with some of that.
It's so you're saying it's not expressive, but it's like performant, right? It's as performant as it could be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I guess it works.
It totally works.
Yeah. So it's probably good enough. Yeah. Like I'm just,
Hold on. My gut impression is to always do things in SQL unless you don't have the expressivity, right? Is that the wrong?
I think that is right. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine. Yeah, it's not broken. I'm just, there's a part of me that's like, well, some things will break. Yeah. And maybe we don't have the way to express how to deal with some of those specific edge cases, but hopefully that's fine, So, like particularly like, numbers that are out of bounds, because a lot of these things are like, are uint 256 or whatever, right? So we specifically can't support those,
So this is the pattern. You kind of scan the logs for a certain topic, right? So this is a transfer, basically, and then come over here. The POEP one is an easier example, right? So it basically hard codes the assumptions about how many arguments they're going to be, and then it's literally hard coding the logic for that specific contract, right?
That's awesome. I mean, honestly, this is so dope. Like, why can't we create, like, if you can express it this way, why can't we make our own version of DeFi Llama adapters that are just like, SQL models? Like, that's basically what you're doing, right? These are like DeFi Llama adapters, but like in SQL.
So I literally, this is my version of that right now. So this is like the DEX trades model, by far the most popular model on Dune right now. I am literally taking like the 2 most common swap patterns and decoding them manually here. So you have basically a simple swap where there's just 2 token pairs, and then you have a DEX aggregator one. So basically assumes that you have all these different pairs, and then wherever you see the pairs, it's there's one token, the other token, and it tries to extract the amounts and so on. So I think it works. Like I tested it against a bunch of different swap patterns, and it seemed to work. The one issue that we encountered, as Ruben mentioned, is the integer overflow. Unfortunately, that happens with ETH, because ETH will be like, there could be a swap of 10 ETH or something, and that's going to be, 10 to the 19.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can write a Trino function. Like, I'm pretty sure this is what Dune has done. We can
Right.
write a Trino function to support new types.
Okay.
So it's not impossible. It's just that we gotta, write some Java. So.
Yeah, I was
Uh.
into doing like my own, hex math, to divide it.
Yeah. So I think it's actually something we probably should be supporting. It's just that we don't right now. So.
Okay.
Sorry, one more question. For this Dex trades one, how different is this from the actual Dune spellbook model? Is that where you got most of the logic from?
I mean, they have a lot of macros that they use, so I didn't actually look into how those macros work. I more just looked at the outputs to see if things were similar, and they were.
Oh, so you wrote this by hand?
I handled this, yes.
Oh, shit. Okay. But you used the Dune model for inspiration?
I mean, I know what the outputs of the Dune model are, so I kept the same outputs effectively. But then, yeah.
Did you actually diff the outputs?
Not
Or you
categorically, because I don't have an API key to actually pull large amounts of data, but I took a sample of, at least on Unichain, different types of swap patterns.
I see. Okay, so you
Yeah.
spot checked.
I spot checked it. I think they have like 6 different patterns that they support. I definitely covered 2 of them. I don't know how different the other ones are, or whether they affect the fields that we have here. Again, I think it's probably pretty close, if not identical.
Sorry, why can't we use the Dune model? Like, how different is their macro system?
Jinja.
Oh, it is.
It is Jinja.
Oh,
They just have many more abstractions between logs and this, like, the final Mart model.
I see. And I assume there's really, like, you have this under domain-specific Unichain Dex trades, but there's nothing keeping us from actually just doing this universally across all EVM chains, right?
We could literally turn this on for, at least all the superchain ones. Yes. I didn't do that just because of cost. Logs are expensive.
Sure. Cool. Okay.
But yeah, the output, let me just share the result here. So yeah, there was a lot of testing in here. But this is one of the things that our friends were curious to look into, which is what tokens have the most activity on Unichain? And what they would like to actually probably see is how does that compare to all of Ethereum or other chains, right? We don't have that yet, but you can basically see here's the top 100 token addresses, and here's how much daily trading activity those addresses have had over time. And this one here, I think this is wrapped Ether. This, Solana was big, Hype was big. So there's a lot of, wrapped tokens which are trading heavily on Uniswap, which I think is their goal. So that's interesting to see. But then we also have the ability to do any of the other analytics that you might want to see. So which DEX addresses, which pools have the most activity. We can look at slippage. So we can say, for a given token pair, what is the rate over time? And are certain types of users getting front run? Like, we could do that type of analysis now. I think, it's all here. I think it's cool.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great to have CoinGecko prices in here, so we can actually put these in dollar terms and look up what these contracts are. But that's for another day.
That's for Hobby Day. Cool. No, this is awesome. Thanks for whipping this together. I think the Google folks will be excited to see this.
Yes. We also have some POAPs, so we can see here all the POAPs that have been minted. This is just a sample, but I think there are, okay, I didn't pull it here, but there's like, I don't know, 12,000 or so POAPs, or 7,000 POAPs have been minted on Unichain. And we can see specifically the spike around the Unicup.
Nice.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so this is decoding POAPs on Unichain.
Yep.
Awesome. You really are like a bit of a SQL ninja. I'm like impressed at how adept you've come at all of this. That's awesome.
Yep.
I'll hope we can get a few more people that are able to whip up these types of things quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if Steffi and Ken can do this kind of stuff, like, easily, that would be great.
Oh yeah, I'm very curious about workflow for Steffi. She's a new person that I just just really curious about workflow for any data scientist. So I'd be curious if like going through SQL is something that like would she prefer data frames or something like that? I just out of curiosity. So
yeah, I mean, I'm trying, like wherever possible, I'm doing all of my engagements with external and team data scientists using notebooks as the interface. So I will basically come up with an agenda. I will have documentation and sample queries in a notebook and just share the notebook. And then ideally they contribute there or they fork it. So this is, I said, here's like the goal. We want to make this. And then here's what we have right now. And hopefully this part helps the person understand what models are going to be relevant to their work. Like, I feel that's much more efficient than creating a scope of work or something. We should just start with the notebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I can also see how much time they're spending in notebook land.
You can also watch their notebook.
Auto time tracking.
Cool. We're already at the 40-minute mark. Any other feedback or anything else you want to demo?
Nothing else to demo.
Okay, cool. No, this is great. Definitely a step in the right direction. Separately, Carl, do you mind posting in one of the Discord channels Steffi's retro funding notebook?
Oh yeah.
The link to it. That'll answer your question, Ruben. Cool. You want to go next, Ikuro?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. I will do a quick one since we are running out of time. So just show you guys how you can create your data models or UDMs for.
Damn it.
You come here, data catalog, you click on a new data set. It's going to bring you to a new page where you would configure all other types of data sets as well. Currently, you only have this one. So you add some data here.
So the user model can be a combination of SQL and Python models?
Currently, only SQL.
But
Okay.
eventually would be, yeah.
But in the future, a data set can have a combination of both. It doesn't have to be strictly one or the other, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. The data set is only limited as user model
Or ingest.
ingestion or connection. Yes. So let's create a data set here. Here you'll have your data set configuration page. It's already going to be listed here. Here you're going to see a list of tables it has. You can create a new table. Let's create our first model here. And now we go to the model edit page.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah. It's cool.
Is this Code Mirror?
Sorry?
This is Code Mirror?
Yes, currently yes.
Woo.
But yeah, it
Sweet.
still needs a lot of stuff done in the code mirror part, especially like coding experience. It's basically a text editor with some highlights currently.
I see.
But it would be nice to
Yeah,
have
what
like
is it even trying to autocomplete? Like,
Yeah, where does that come from?
it's just the default SQL.
No, it's
I
not.
see.
It's not Trina dialect.
No,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We'll
Code mirror-
get that.
yeah. Code Mirror doesn't have the default Trino that doesn't have Trino dialog by default, so we will need to. We can copy a lot of stuff from the Mermo code because they have a lot of help functions for SQL already,
Nice.
especially like the schema part. If you want to like inject schemas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you can edit stuff here. It should be auto saving. You can create a release here. Add a description to your release. Oh. Oh no. Yes. One bug. Schema it won't show currently if you have because we need to run stuff to get the schemas.
Yeah, my bad.
You can see a list of releases here. The preview is not yet linked. Runs, you can show the list of runs. You can see the list of runs here, and you can trigger new runs. Still, this isn't linked yet. You can create a run request, but then the request won't be moved to a run yet. So, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
No. It's this is awesome. It's just if I had been able to complete my part, it would have been a full thing. This is really cool.
Then yeah. Oh, I wish I wanted to show the release part, but
There's an error in the alerts channel. Basically, there's missing like an ID field, but it's trying to do a request.
oh.
Yeah, it's a small bug.
So, but yeah, I wanted to show the release UX. But
Cool.
oh,
Oh,
cool.
Oh, cool. Wait,
So yeah,
why is it showing up as JSON?
if you change it, for example, models we want now,
Mm.
and then you come to the releases. Oh, it didn't save. For some reason, it's not saving when I edit the code. Another bug. But if I edit the description, it saves. Nope. Okay, I need to take a look into the automatic saves. Oh yeah, I can also do command save. I need to add an icon here when it's not saved.
Sorry, I'm a little bit confused. So it auto saves to revisions and then release are basically tagged revisions. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, so the way that our semantics work right now, and we can figure out if this is good or bad UX in the future, but we wanted a way to make sure like you can edit, and then when you want something to basically be ready for materialization, you release it, right? So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Minor, I would probably call it publish as opposed to release. I'm fine with the releases tab, but I think it's also
Sure.
canonical a little bit. But that makes sense to me. And the whole point of revisions is just to make sure
You can undo.
Yeah. How do you undo?
Or it would be like revert from revision. Yeah. I mean, that would be the UX at some point. Yeah. We just don't have that. So it's basically we're storing an edit version.
You can see like this is the current revision and this is the old. I need to remove these fields. And you can revert it. Well, you could at some point. Oh, yes. I don't know why these fields are here, but yeah, I need to remove these fields. Yeah, you would be able to revert it, and it would it would create a new revision, which is the same as the old revision.
Sorry, the revert will bring me back to that particular tagged release.
Yes.
And so, but from that perspective, you're only ever working on the granularity of releases, what are the revisions in between releases used for?
They are not. They are used only for like saving, mainly for saving. Because if I'm editing stuff here, and I'm editing lots of stuff, I want it to be saved, right? In like,
See, okay, so it's basically like unpublished.
yes,
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
At some point, I
and
think
it will be cleared. Yeah.
but we just don't. Yeah, that would be the hope, is you have some kind of undo log so you could go
Yeah.
back, right? Because if you have to release to be able to like undo something that was kind of dumb, it kind of sucks. So yeah.
So you're imagining something like a Google Docs style, like
Yes, 100%.
revision log.
Yeah. But yeah,
Here we could show the entire revision history as well, right?
I see. Okay, cool. All right. No, sorry. I'm just like trying to understand like
Mhm.
the UX. Okay, cool. All right.
this is great. Yeah, it's cool. I am excited to actually make this work. So, yeah.
And so a run is tied to a release definition.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. A run is tied to release, and then the schema is
It's tied
determined
to-
by materialization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So every release will. Are we still doing like Semver type stuff? Like a release?
So we don't have any Semver. I don't want to expose any Semver node, like any Semver thing to the user. So I think what we would do is we would do it based on schemata. So
Right. Okay. So a release is a particular schema.
yeah.
And then the run is attached to the run will every run that's attached to a release will have the same schema.
Yeah, it should. Yeah. Assuming that it's downstream or upstream dependencies don't have, or
Don't change. Yeah.
yeah, if there's no change. Yeah. Right.
Oh,
Yeah. So there's some goofiness there that's possible, right? Because your model could be unchanged, but something you depend on changes, and the types change if you don't do certain things. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess this makes sense just from a definitional perspective. I think I'm just trying to understand like when we get to a universe where we have models that depend on models and notebooks that depend on models and all that kind of stuff, like
How are we going to do
thinking about like
Mhm.
versioning and compatibility, and when we can detect incompatibility and things like that.
Yeah. My thought is basically it's like allow but warn heavily, right? Like you're about to make a change because they're especially within the data models. We would be able to know beforehand whether or not you're making a breaking change. The places where we wouldn't be able to know that are mostly like ingest, like if ingest has a breaking change, like not a lot we can do about that, so it's sort of like we'll have to warn, and then it's like, how do you want to deal with this? Coerce, the type, or what do you want to do?
Right. Yeah, I think there is like I mean, it's probably not too dissimilar from like Plasmic publishes, right? Which is like at the time of publish, you probably don't want to blindly always publish. It's like you probably there probably needs to be some kind of like, sorry, my thoughts on this are not totally well formed yet, but like,
are you thinking like you basically want to see some kind of like blast radius or like the effect of any given change that you're going to make, like or the diff, like
like I feel like there's two stages, right? There's like right now what you guys are calling releases is I am ready to run this for myself. I'm saving this. This is a version that matters to me.
Yes.
And I want to run it and I want to see it.
Yes, yes.
And
yes,
then there's a second stage, which is like, am I ready to expose this version to everybody else, right?
I see. I see.
'Cause
Maybe
I don't
that's
know whether I'm ready to see it until I can preview it and I can see that the scheme.
Oh man, the UX there, that's goofy. Okay, yeah. But it's also that's the only Huh.
maybe it's just actually just releases and it's just a button like here saying like remove to prod or something. Push to
Yeah,
prod.
like promote or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
or maybe it's always like stage and then deploy or something like that, right?
Oh, but yeah, this would also change the scheduler, right? Because the scheduler would need to push to another table, and then later it needs to create a view or something, right? Or something.
like this is kind of why, if you remember in Portland, Ruben, we talked about this, about like, model name at of Semver or model name number a run number. And the reason why I was suggesting that is because like the question is whether or not the consumer or the producer is responsible, right?
Sure.
And in that version, the consumer just says, okay, this is the schema that I'm happy with. I'm always going to be writing with the schema that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Right. I think you're right now, you're moving more towards like a producer responsible, which is like, I'm ready to like, I'm going to break everything downstream. So now I got to like be aware of that and think about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of it both ways, I guess, right? Because I was thinking we couldn't control,
But
like,
if you and I are in different orgs, I cannot control what you do. Right?
correct. Yeah. So I was thinking of having it all ways, right? Like basically, like if you're about to introduce a breaking change, warn you you're going to introduce a breaking change, right? And or if you have an upstream dependency that has a breaking change, warn you that you have an upstream dependency that is breaking change. Right. Like I feel like that's the only way to actually deal with this is to warn everyone when breaking changes occur.
Mm-hmm.
Because like to do Semver is cool and all, but then there's sort of this like unintended Semver bump, right? Like that's sort of out of band from you. Right.
What do you mean?
Like, so again, so if like one of your dependencies has a breaking change to you that forces, let's say you don't do any casting of the final result, and so previously you were getting an integer, now you're getting a double,
Well, that's why you have to have caret ranges, right? Or tilde ranges. Again, I'm thinking NPM semantics. So if you have a breaking change, I don't get it, right? I would not be affected. I would never get broken. I would just get the warning that in order to use the new major version, I need to make a change.
I see.
Like that was the intention of all of this came from Juan's feedback, which is like he never wants his dashboards to break. If you are breaking the dashboard, he gets pissed, right? And I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So I guess like Semver versions of a model should always exist.
It's all
They should be continuously be scheduled, or should we?
Well, I think
producing.
Given what I've seen so far, the way that I'm mentally mapping it in my brain is the Semver only actually exists on the run level, right? Like every single run, you can implicitly introspect the schema, calculate a semantic version, and so like it's always like the runs now become a linear version history with a run number, and a run number has a Semver attached to it. And on the consumption side, I can do model greater than 0, I can do model tilde 1.0, I can do model caret 1.0. And those basically define like, am I okay with breakages? Am I okay with augmented functionality? Or am I not okay with any schema changes whatsoever?
The weird part for me on these UX is mainly like, how do I define the first time I'm using it, Like when I'm developing something, I won't add the version at all. So if I don't,
No, it's the same thing as npm, which is the first time you do an npm install, it will by default do carrot at the latest major version, right?
Yeah, but that's people will be writing SQL by hand. People won't, or
No,
yeah,
I
I
think
think what we would do is you would essentially have a package JSON of the dependency mapping and the versions at the time, probably.
that's what
right?
the data catalog is for, right? Like if I'm adding stuff from the marketplace, the data catalog will have like what the schema is.
what if I'm in this page and I add from something?
Well, I mean, ideally, it's already in my data catalog and it auto completes like to stuff from my data catalog, right?
And the autocomplete should also include versioning then?
I mean, that was my suggestion, but I'm open to discussing this. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. Like, I think living in a world where we're just constantly warning and constantly breaking is great if you live in a mono repo and live in a mono organization, but terrible if you are cross org.
Yeah. I guess the one thing that is interesting is
So everything
when you
needs,
introduce a breaking change, we have to fork the data warehouse.
Wait, whoa. Why?
Because in order to maintain your model, like any consumer's model, you need to have the old version that has you need to maintain the at least the
Every run is immutable.
Yeah.
We can't have mutable data.
Okay.
I think that was my impression of query rewriting. Like that was my impression of what.
No, yeah. We could still do that with query rewriting. It's just a matter of like, it's just that the storage requirements on the consumer or on the producer side get kind of massive, I guess, potentially. So, like it depends. Like if you're constantly doing breaking changes, which would suck for everyone who's consuming you, then yeah, we'll be storing all of that, and you'll be paying for all of that, right? So
yeah, you need to and we should add a difference between releases for testing and releases for that you want to publish, right? Because you can be testing and doing a lot of breaking changes, but accidentally, and then you go back to the old schema you have and be like, this is the thing that I want to do.
And again, I'm not opposed to like I think there is an interesting question of like who pays. I think it's a very good question. If it's always a producer pays, then obviously the producer should get the option to delete stuff. Especially like if you can show warnings that nobody's using these releases. It's like maybe you have an auto garbage collect, or maybe you give people like the visible indicator, and then they like easily delete anything no one's using. But if there are a bunch of stuff that I've produced but I don't care about anymore, but there's downstream people using, like, I mean, in theory, there should be like a consumer pays model, right? In that world.
Yeah.
There's also the use case of deprecation, right? Or
Duplication.
Deprecation, or do we like, look, you're using a very old model version that we want to delete. So
I mean,
you have
I think
6 days to.
This is the fundamental challenge with npm, right? And security vulnerabilities and all sorts of stuff. Thankfully, we're not talking about code, so we're really not that worried about security vulnerabilities. It's more like staleness. So I'm not that worried. Like, if Juan is like my customer profile here, if Juan wants to keep a dashboard running that's time locked to data from 2020, and he's willing to pay for all the upstream stuff to keep that dashboard running, it's like, all right, it's yours now. You're paying for it. Like, not my problem, right? But if no one's willing to pay for it, then yeah, maybe, time to garbage collect.
So
Is this adding way too much complexity? I don't know. This is like I am sharing what my original formulation was.
Yeah,
with-
no. I mean, it's complex. Too much complexity is a bigger question, I guess. Yeah, I think the complexity is honestly for me is like who pays. Is actually the thing that matters more, because any of this is fine. It's just a matter of like, we got to make it very clear if you're using old data and the person producing it no longer wants to maintain and pay for that, you're paying.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
And how do we make that UX good? Because yeah, like I actually don't care how wide the data warehouse gets. It doesn't
I think-
actually matter to me.
We're brainstorming here. I'm not. These are not like I'm spitballing. I'm shooting the shit here. Like, what if in your run list you get indicators of who's using it, and then you never get the ability to force delete. You always get a mark for deletion. So I mark all the stuff that I want to delete. And so for the ones with 0 dependents, it's like whatever, it's gone. But for the stuff where there is more than one dependent, then that consumer starts getting major warnings in the notification bar being like, hey, this is marked for deletion in the next 90 days. You have to inherit it.
Yeah.
or upgrade your model to this new model that exists. Time limit. And then you
Yeah,
can
I would go a different direction in that instead of marking for deletion, I would force the producer to mark for saving, because I would imagine that most people just want to delete. If you're going to update a version of a model, you're going to want to delete it. Like probably.
Yeah.
You don't actually care. You're moving forward. But
Okay,
if you want to maintain something, like it's like, hey, we have this old version, we have version 1, and we want to make sure that it runs for posterity, or it's maintained for posterity's sake, for anyone who's using it, then that's different, right? Yeah.
So it's like every time someone goes to upload, to push a new release to production, say, oh, this release is now the new version. We check the schemas and say, oh, this is gonna upgrade from 1 to 2. 1 is gonna be deleted in X days. If you don't want that, go here and do this, something like that. But you will pay for it, or
Yeah. So you're saying mark for saving, but I don't know. It boils down to like, at what point is it exposed to someone that's not in your organization? And when that link is made and you no longer want to save it anymore, that same problem still exists, right?
Yes. But then I guess like it's still up to the consumer to be like, hey, this is marked for deletion, automatically. You have 90 days,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
I feel like is very, very reasonable.
Yeah. And then you have 90 days to update either update
Within
your model.
90 days, you ignore the message. Like, yeah, maybe this is new.
Yeah.
From what I'm understanding, the query rewrite should always have versions.
Yes, that's also what I'm understanding now as well. Or I guess remembering, because I do remember this conversation. Yeah, so we're just gonna have to maintain the version in the tables as well, for a given materialization. I think where this gets really sticky, and one of the reasons why I sort of was thinking to avoid this as much as I possibly could, was mostly that data ingest and the data connectors are completely uncontrolled, and I can't, like, if the version changes on the data connector, like nothing I can do.
Yeah, but we've talked about this, right? This is why I've like for 3 months now I've been like, can we kill data connectors? I don't know. I don't know if we've ever had a conversation where I didn't say, please kill data connectors.
Sure. I am not. So, and then the same thing, I guess, for ingest is like when you get a new thing, are you going to maintain 2 tables? Right? Like let's say, we're pulling from DeFi Llama, and one day, again, this is the classic one, I guess. It went from, actually, let's go even weirder. It goes from int to hexadecimal byte array, right? Like if it does that,
that's a major version upgrade.
it's a major version upgrade. but then you want to query across both versions.
Why do you want to
Oh.
cross both versions?
Well, you want full history, I guess. Like-
So you're saying there's an incremental run, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
run has like partial old data, partial new data.
Yeah. Like, how are we going to deal with that? I guess we have to expose both versions to the user.
Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about full runs first. You would agree that in Google Spreadsheets or CSVs, totally fine to just store tons of immutable snapshots everywhere, right?
Yeah. For a full run, it makes sense that you would just store the snapshot. Store the snapshot of a given schema version, right?
Right.
Because I wouldn't want to store snapshot on literally every. Yeah, then you're paying for a lot. Someone's paying for a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, if you have a major version upgrade, or even if you have a minor version upgrade in the schema for an ingest, you have to do a backfill.
Yeah.
And the moment you do a backfill, now you have two immutable snapshots. You have the old snapshot of from beginning of time to the date that the schema changes at the old schema. That's the old version, major version number. And then you've done a backfill at the new major version number. And those are two copies now, right? And now you've effectively gone up to the new major version number.
Yeah.
And the old one is like stuck at the old schema. That's how I would do it. I think like, I don't know. I mean, I understand that storage cost is a concern, but like, I mean, my intention here is to make life easier, right? Like the more that we can make things immutable, like the way that you reason about failures and versions and schema is like significantly easier.
Oh, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think for certain organizations, actually, so I happen to know now that for certain organizations, they don't care what the cost is. Like, yeah. The fact that, like Grant's old, company was spending $1 billion on just data warehouse stuff every year is insane.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be like that worried about storing multiple copies of GitHub Archive if GitHub Archive is constantly changing, right?
I mean, if that's what people, the only thing I want is to know who's responsible, like for paying that. That's all, right? Because for on our side, I think we have to be fairly aggressive, or not that aggressive, but we have to be aggressive with determining who pays, right? Because otherwise, costs could get out of control, right? If we're just constantly keeping immutable snapshots.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's producer pays until they don't want it anymore, and then you have to like kind of force a consumer pays moment, right?
Yeah. You can unionize, and if multiple consumers pay, you could split the costs. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
Like, you are the only one who needs this. It's going to cost this. If you can convince other people to need this, then you can split the costs. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Yeah. This only changes things slightly, I guess. In the storage of like the revisions, we need to make sure that we're also storing, when we store like what you're depending on, you should store the version. Like the major minor version of it, I guess, at that time. So, or maybe just the major version. Really, I only think the thing that you should be tracking is major versions.
Yes.
Because minor versions don't actually matter.
Yeah. Which is just checking the schema, right?
Yeah, it's just checking the schema. Yeah.
I mean, I think minor versions matter in the sense that if, let's say, DeFi Llama, classic example, index up to today, tomorrow they add a new column. And now suddenly I'm writing models that depend on the new column. Like, I want to know that that column exists for the backfill. So I think it's major minor.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah.
And releases, we will tag releases as ready for something, right? For
Yeah, basically a release just means run it. Like this is okay to run. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally speaking,
Maybe we should change
I would personally change it to like revisions are auto saved, and then like instead of release, I would just say save, and that becomes like a tagged save, right? And a tagged save are the things that you run. The runs are the things with semantic versions, because obviously I can't control the schema entirely on my own. So like the run will determine the schema. And then like you said, everything is auto deleted by definition, and then I can publish
Uh-huh.
or release a table for outside consumption at some point at some version number, right?
So yeah, I guess I'm thinking of this in this way then. So any unsaved stuff, is like some draft basically, right? So
yeah.
like a draft, and then like whatever's fully merged. But yeah, like the semantics of it, I don't want to use the word merge because that's also weird. So
what's I don't see the difference between just the naming it's different.
Oh yeah, it's just the naming. It's just
the same thing.
It's literally the same thing. It's just like it's just like how we want to show this to users. Yeah, like because release might mean something. Like release, the English word release just has a different connotation, I think, than.
I mean, release means that you are sharing it with other people.
Yeah,
and that is not what this means, right?
Okay, so release will be renamed to like saved.
I think save is fine.
Yeah, or checkpoint or
so revisions are just drafts, and then instead of release we have saves, and then that save determines what gets run. So now you're running. The run can be manually triggered, the run can be scheduled, and like you said, depending on what's upstream, we have no idea what schema is going to happen, but at some point we'll resolve the schema post run, and that determines and then maybe at publish time where we decide we want to save a run or save a table, that's when it gets versioned, right?
Yeah. I guess I just want to make clear to the person that's using this that, if you don't save, the draft is still saved, right? Like, yeah.
Don't save, the draft is still saved. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like, because the terminology.
Usually there's like a little next to the release button, there's a little italic mini thing. It's like auto saved at this date or something.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing, right? Like, I just want to make sure that, I just want for the user experience, like the naming and stuff. Yeah, like all those things just need to make sense to the user. That's all I'm trying to get at. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Cool.
Do you guys I think I said something that I couldn't tell if it was that controversial or not. Do you agree that anytime there's a minor version bump, we should do a backfill and have a new immutable snapshot?
I don't think that's necessary. Because, well, hold on. So if there's a minor bump, like you add a new column, depending on what it is, you may or may not be able to do a full backfill, right? Well, I guess my question is, so for ingestion, what's the behavior? Do we actually go back? Like, that might not be possible.
Give me an example. I don't know. Javi, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing something, let's say you have limited API token and you need to do a thing and it takes X amount of time to do it, and the only reason that you really have this data set is because you've been doing it incrementally and now you have years worth of data. If you have to backfill that and you've been running it for 5 years, you're going to wait 5 years to get that additional column for everything.
Do we have any data sets that fit that description?
I'm thinking of more like, I guess not exactly, but there is like the SBOM stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not in the year time span, but it is in a long time span.
SBOMs and GitHub events kind of maybe fit into that category.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if GitHub events were to be one, we would be incapable of getting it all back.
I know. I this might be controversial, but I'm of the mindset that if you have an unstable data source like that, we should best effort try to get rid of it. Like that is why Voyager exists, right? The Voyager exists because like GitHub events is a shitty way to do this. There's no like now that they had a bug, there's no way to go back and fix this like bald spot in the summer. And it's just
but
like,
I mean I agree with you, but I also like I feel like that's the nature of data of a lot of these data sources, right? Like of many data sources. It's just going to be like this is stuff that you produce. Like if for whatever reason, like okay, let's think of like telemetry data for weather, right? If your machine stops working for a day, you know, like what can you do? Or if or if you start measuring a new natural phenomena that we just discovered, right? Like you can't go back and remeasure that at some previous time. So I don't know if I would consider that like unstable data, right? It's just
like
you know, temporal.
Yeah, sorry. I know this like is going way over.
Sorry.
Meeting at the top of the hour. Maybe we can pin this discussion for later if we still want to demo some more.
Yeah, sorry.
In the first 10 minutes.
We should
I personally disagree, but I have an idea of like what I mean by that. Maybe we can talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay, find me. Or find us, I guess. Javi?
It's my turn. Well, I know we
sorry.
are. No worries. We are deep over the hour, so I just have a couple of things to show. Let's start share screen. Okay, can you guys see this now? Yeah, you should. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. We have a new data source, which is OpenDev data. It is really interesting because how it works is that they expose an CLI tool, which basically does the downloading for you. Basically, it has like a manifest, which is here. We can like explore the shape to see how it is. And here, basically, just they expose a couple of like Parquet files. And each one is just like mapping to one of the table. And then it has like, like a checksum and some information, which the CLI that they did will just like fetch it. Currently did an initial approach, which is the CLI. But then I realized, hey, why don't we just use, one of the factories that we already have? And that's how I came up with this asset. As you can see, it is 40 lines. It's super simple. And the only thing it's doing, it's fetching the manifest. It's making a list of all the Parquet files it has to download. And then it's using archive to BigQuery to just upload it easily. Takes around an hour to run. Yeah, everything works out of the box. So for all the use cases that we have, like a Parquet file, zip file, or some file somewhere, the archive to BigQuery, which needs to be renamed, is the factory to go. With this PR, we also have a lot of like staging models, as you can see. And each one of these staging models has like all of the fields, which as well is like some work. And also all of the seed data is here. And I have something to show you guys that I think that you should use. And it is this new cursor rule that I created and I've been using a lot in conjunction with this create seed and staging model. Basically, this rule has this script which uses the gcloud CLI to create some intermediate JSON files that have all the schema of the table and then sample data, like 5 rows of sample data. And then you give that and you tell the AI how to do it, and it will create for you seed data and staging models, including handling like records, arrays, and more complex types. It also, gives all the information on how to actually create the seed data and the staging models as well, and everything works out of the box. It works pretty well. So if someone runs again into this use case of like, hey, I have like a new data source and I have to create a lot of like seed data and a lot of staging models, please feel free to use this because it works really well and it saves a lot of time. Cool. That's the first thing that I wanted to show. Any questions on the OpenDev data?
No, that's awesome. You should build it into a Llama index workflow and build the auto staging. That's basically the auto staging feature.
Yeah,
right?
that seems like that's what that is. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys want to go super quick, a little bit more into depth, basically it's just using like BigQuery to like fetch 5, and then it's just like creating this like table.json file, and it has the data set name, some information, like the project, the schema, and then some sample data. And that is enough context for the AI to like, map it to our seed and staging, because like this create seed and staging rule is like really thorough and works super well. So yeah, both together, they are basically doing auto staging models.
I mean, the reason why I say build into Llama index is because, I think in the back end, it really should just, instead of all this BigQuery CLI stuff, it's more like private ingest job, PyOSO query to get sample rows, create a model from that, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, because this is a new model, we don't have staging models and we cannot query them through PyOSO. They're just on BigQuery.
Yes, well, I think in the future, all private ingest jobs should be things that are queryable from PyOSO.
Oh, yes, 100%. Yes. Yeah, I agree. We should connect it to PyOSO and in a workflow. But yeah, essentially, super useful.
Wait, hold on. Is it the case that in PyOSO we can query raw data yet? Or no?
I don't think we can query directly from BigQuery. No.
Ikro, just confirm we cannot do that.
No, we cannot. Yeah,
Okay.
we cannot. Yeah, that's not connected. I mean, that's not to say that we couldn't in the future, but also I think, as we move things into the app, we're moving it directly into Iceberg, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, so you're not touching BigQuery anymore.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we will want to migrate this rule as well in the future.
Javi, how confident are you now that with the cursor rules that we have, we're actually able to identify the right type of Dagster asset for the job?
Can you repeat that question, please, Carla?
This
So-
isn't about Dagster assets, right? This is about staging models.
No, I'm looking at the first step, right, which is actually figuring out which asset to create. So go back to what you shared, was the 40 lines that had the.
Yes, it's here. Yeah, this one.
This was hand rolled. This wasn't cursor.
Yes, but we do
Yeah.
have a rule which is for creating a Dagster asset. So my question was, if you point if you point to a new data source that we want to ingest.
Right now, I didn't know that we had that cursor rule, so I haven't taken a look into it.
I have
but
very little confidence that will work, but maybe
yeah,
I have
I think like
extremely low confidence that would work.
we have like we don't have a lot of like factories yet, and it is like not super hard to like know more or less what you want for each. But yeah, maybe like adding a rule that like explicitly explains, like which is like the ideal conditions for each. Maybe not one shot it, but it can give you like an idea on how to use it.
There's like so much nuance in how to configure pagination and retries and tokens and things like that like, yeah, very unlikely. I feel like it's much more likely that you'll just have a better form. Like we should just get private ingest built and then you just do it in the app and we can try to infer as much as possible the settings.
Yeah, I
Yep.
am in strong agreement with that. I think we just get the private ingest to work, and that should hopefully, we have more control over everything there, and we can hopefully make the experience better in general for everybody.
But yeah, I mean, this is cool because you can already see we're really not that far from private ingest into Iceberg, auto staging model. We just start with this prompt, right? And attach OmniSQL to it and probably get
OmniSQL, all the things.
Sweet.
Wait, did you say you had a meeting?
Yeah, I do. I got
Okay,
about.
well,
yeah.
well, yeah. So most of what I was going to share, honestly, isn't fully done. So next week would be better anyway. But I do have just as a note the auto migration. So super base
Ooh.
migration happens in continuous deployment now, and it is if your thing fails auto migration, it will your merge will fail. So yeah, it's part of the merge queue specifically.
Nice. Sweet.
Nice.
So that's just one thing I want to note. Otherwise, the other thing I wanted to show was like table resolution and some other stuff, but we can always go over that some other time. So
Cool. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
this was a long one.
yeah, no. I mean, I think actually it was I think it's more important that we talked about what's going on with those data models because this is, nothing's actually wired up together yet. So it's better that we handle that now. So yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
I'll come find you guys after this block.
Okay.
We can chat a bit more.
Cool.
Ikra, do you want to talk about the GitHub event data?
Oh yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
come find you.
Cool.
All right, bye.
Later, guys.
Sweet.